Speaking with Michael Winlo from Emyria on JustStocks this morning. Michael, morning.
Hey, good morning, Andrew.
Yeah, welcome to JustStocks, Michael. Good to see you. Uh, Update from you this morning here, an expansion of your authorised prescriber team with the first female specialist here for the MDMA program. Just tell us a bit more, tell us more about the significance of this.
Yeah, so if you've been following the space lately, you'd realize that Australia was pretty unique in legalizing the access of MDMA for PTSD and psilocybin for treatment-resistant depression. This is a world first move that they made, caught the attention of everybody really, and but when the TJ established their access pathways, they were very strict about who could have the authorization to prescribe these treatments. These need to be psychiatry specialists, need to have training, need to have access to a purpose-built facility and the support of a therapy team. So we've obviously spent the last couple of years, building those capabilities, and now in a position where we can support authorized prescribers. So we have our second authorized prescriber approval, and notably this one, the first female authorized prescriber in Australia for this treatment.
Well, just put some perspective on that. How many authorised providers are there in Australia currently?
Yeah, so the TJ doesn't publish that, but to our knowledge, probably less than six at the moment. So even though the law came into effect in July, that gives you a sense of just how difficult it can be to become an authorized prescriber for that. So yeah, the second one does a couple of things for our service. It allows us to expand our research capabilities, but also our care delivery capabilities in the services as well.
And remind us, Michael, about the commercialization strategy here for this treatment.
Yeah, so an authorized prescriber is allowed to provide this treatment, for fee. They can take payment for that, unlike a clinical trial where patients are unable to or not allowed to make a contribution to their trial treatment. So that allows us to open up this as a commercial service. We think there's a huge demand and a need for new treatments for PTSD. These treatments are very promising, and so we're in the process of evaluating those and providing an access pathway to suitable patients. And so we think we can make a thriving clinical service here, delivering these treatments, making an important difference to people's lives, but at the same time advancing the field by the knowledge we can learn with our patients as well.
And of course, significantly, you've now shifted from trial to delivery with this treatment.
That's right. Yeah. So previously, most of the access would have been through clinical trials, but authorized prescribers have that extra ability to be able to provide this to any patient they believe could be qualify for this treatment, where other treatments have not been effective. And we know for many patients, there's 500,000 patients with perhaps treatment-resistant PTSD in Australia. That's a very large number. A large proportion of those patients may be eligible for a treatment like this. So we're talking about a really large unmet need, in our country alone, let alone globally, that could potentially benefit from new treatments. And so it's important to be able to, we see a huge opportunity in being able to provide access to a new treatment option for those patients in a way that's commercially viable, but most importantly, clinically impactful.
And I suppose in terms of the longer term value creation here, just remind us about the MDMA analog development program.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of ways we want to see value here. One is, if we can be leaders in the delivery of this treatment, we can then expand those treatment options for patients through licenses, through other providers. We know there's a large pool of doctors interested in learning how to provide these treatments, but just don't have the clinical support, the know-how, the experience. And we see an opportunity to be able to provide that and expand, I guess, our capacity to deliver care in this way. But noting that there's still a lot to learn, we pay a lot of attention to the data, what's going on with our patients, and we use those data and revenues to support our long-term innovation pipeline, which does two things. We want to design new care models, but also develop new drug treatments. And as you might be aware, we have a really exciting program with the University of Western Australia, where we're developing analogues. We're taking that MDMA molecule and we're making changes to it to see whether it can be a useful treatment for a range of other neurological conditions as well. And that's a well-advanced program, still at preclinical stage, but I think huge long-term potential there.
You mentioned the importance of data. Just remind us a bit about the recent CLEAR research report.
Yes, so really delighted to get a CLEAR search report from the International Patent Examiner. So this is a review that is optional, but you can get an early read on the patentability likelihood of your key patents. And so we've got a really critical patent covering a very large universe of MDMA analogs. These are all novel chemicals which we think may have potential to treat a range of conditions. It's the product of years of work, and pleasingly we got a CLEAR search report from that international examiner meaning that our claims are likely novel and inventive, and therefore have a high degree of likelihood of being patented at the national filing phase. So that's an indication that we are in novel space. We've got really robust intellectual property on that drug development program.
And in terms of partnerships, give us a quick recap on this research study agreement with Reach Wellness.
Yeah, so one of the key things to do despite MDMA-assisted therapy showing such great promise, there is no third-party payer support yet for patients. And so this is part of the effort in collecting some of that data, as well as to help payers get across this treatment and where it might sit. And so in the interim, we're really delighted to have the support of charity Reach Wellness. This is a group that's been around for many years, and they're focused on the support and well-being of first responders. And they've initiated a fundraising campaign to provide access for 50 first responders to receive this treatment, alongside a support program that they'll provide. And that's wonderful. That means that we'll be able to provide access to a range of needy first responders where other treatments haven't worked, and importantly, collect good data that can help many hundreds of first responders after that, we hope.
And they're covering the costs of the study, are they?
That's right. Importantly, they're covering the full cost of treatment. Now, the treatment costs are high for a mental health intervention because of all the therapy time that's involved in our program. Nearly 80 hours of therapist time and specialist time with every patient. Now, that is good value for money, because I tell you what's expensive is untreated PTSD or poorly managed PTSD can be very, very expensive. So actually, in the grand scheme of things, this is not a huge cost. And what the data is telling us is this is a potentially very beneficial and durable treatment. And so we need to now demonstrate, play that out in the real world, and in order to have the impact we can. So fortunately, Reach has stepped up to the plate, knowing that while the payers are sitting on the sidelines for now, they're willing to fund the full cost of treatment, which keeps our service busy and hopefully will lead to improved lives for a lot of first responders.
Great to see you, Michael. Thanks for your time on JustStocks.
Hey, thanks for your time, Andrew. Appreciate it.